Joining us now is Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jenix.
Good morning, Dr.
We missed you
Abati.
yesterday.
Oh my
We really
goodness.
did.
Really? Where? I was with you guys. We were on air together. I was not
but
in
we were
the
in
Aso Rock,
Abuja,
though.
you were in
Yes.
Lagos.
I envy you guys. Let me show some envy.
You don't have it
But
in
you guys,
darling.
I don't, you know that. You guys did amazing, really. Congratulations and
you.
congratulations to Arise. Good morning, Rufai.
Oji, good morning. Did we plan it out? You're wearing orange, I'm wearing orange. Just a little
Oh,
bit of orange.
wow.
Serious.
I haven't seen you today.
Oji, what happened while I was away? You people have been exchanging memos.
Why not? Why not?
I like that, Oji. I like that. I like that. A great interview, like you said. I mean,
Yes.
Tundo and Dr. Abati did an amazing job.
did.
Goodness me, God knows tons and tons of people sent me messages with Tundo.
Oh my God, the reactions
questioning
are
and Dr. Abati's
overwhelming.
questioning. Goodness me, it was just spot on. And it has taken our rise to the very next level. Anyway, we're at the top already. We're number
Yes.
one. So I don't know what other chart.
Rufai,
Enough.
mind your language. Next level. Look for another phrase, perhaps. Anyway, Ojineka, take charge.
All
Take
right.
charge.
As always. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United Kingdom, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson and US President Joe Biden are set to agree on an Atlantic charter to reaffirm the relationship between their two countries at the G7 summit, which begins today in Cornwall, southwest England. In the United States, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has slammed Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari's administration over alleged killings of Christians and for not doing enough to protect religious freedom amid the controversial ban of microblogging platform Twitter. And the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle's father, Thomas Markle Sr., says he has more dirty laundry to air in an explosive trailer for an upcoming television documentary. The 76-year-old admitted that he hasn't spoken to his daughter since she got married to Prince Harry. In Canada, a ring of fire solar eclipse appeared in the sky on Thursday. The solar eclipse was visible in many parts of the Northern Hemisphere, and people around the world captured the celestial show. It was the first of two solar eclipses in 2021. In France, 28-year-old Damien Tarel, who is on trial for slapping President Emmanuel Macron while giving his testimony in court, said the attack was impulsive and unplanned and was prompted by anger at the country's declining state. In Sierra Leone, a video of a Chinese miner attacking a Sierra Leonean safety officer with a rod on a mining site sparked outrage on social media. In Nigeria, mixed reactions on the Arise TV exclusive interview with President Muhammadu Buhari. The interview was his first exclusive with a media outlet since he resumed his second term in office.
What about Twitter?
Twitter. That I will give to myself.
And President Muhammadu Buhari commissions the 157-kilometer rail line in Lagos State and the handing over of security equipment to the state's police command.
Let me also use this opportunity to reiterate that my directive to security agencies to shoot any person or persons found illegally with the AK-47s and other assault weapons remain in place.
Finally, under entertainment, multiple award winner Damini Ebunluwa Ogulu, popularly known as Burna Boy, has finally received his Grammy trophy months after winning the most coveted award.
I don't charge my energy, I don't get time for no enemy. To repay one day to me.
But let's begin what's trending with reactions to the exclusive interview President Muhammadu Buhari granted to Arise TV. Many Nigerians shared mixed reactions on social media as the interview was granted at a time the country yearned for the president's comment amid widespread agitations across the country. The president's controversial statement, in which he referenced the Nigerian civil war, was repeated when he was asked about bandits and terrorists in the Northwest. During the Arise exclusive interview, the president said he has ordered the military to treat bandits in the language they understand. Let's take a listen before we come back for a reaction.
The problem is the Northwest. The same people, same culture, killing each other, stealing each other's cattle, burning their villages. As I said, we are going to treat them in the language they will understand. We have given the police and the military power to be ruthless. And you watch it, in a few weeks' time, there will be difference.
Dr. Abati, all I can say is President Buhari is the general that he is. I guess this is the language that he understands. People are saying that, he's changing the narrative because of the outrage from the southeast.
Well, two quick things, because we had already discussed this earlier. Just to say that, one, the president is saying, or is responding, in my view, to reactions when he originally made that statement that led to the Twitter, deleting the specific tweet when he talked about the civil war, about persons who were not part of the civil war, and who in certain parts of the country, that was the phrase he used, were now taking on the Nigerian state, and that he will speak to them in the language that they will understand. And now in that interview, he extended it to the Northwest. There was also a reference to the Southeast. And the whole point is that anybody who engages in criminality in any part of the country, will be dealt with. And of course, in a consistent manner, when the president came to Lagos, the issue also came up. And he said, the directive that he gave to the security agencies to shoot bandits on site, that directive is still in place and that it should be enforced. So the Arise interview, I think, provided the president the opportunity to show that not one part of the country is being targeted and that the administration is committed to checking criminality, banditry in every part of the country, whether it's in the Northwest or in the Southeast or in the Southwest. But the bigger question that Nigerians raise is about how effective the president has been in that regard. That, I think, is the bigger question, beyond the ethnicity, beyond the ethnic politics, beyond the geopolitics of the security challenge in Nigeria. Because as it is, all of us are involved, and all of us are looking up to government, led by President Buhari at this time, to fulfill the objectives of governance under Section 14, subsection 2 of the Constitution, which is to ensure the security and welfare of the people of Nigeria and everyone who lives within this jurisdiction called and identified as Nigeria.
Very well said, Dr. Abati. Rufai, a quick comment from you, please, on this.
For me, the president has been saying this, that he will clamp down on bandits for quite a while. It's not today. We all know the security challenges. If you ask a lot of Nigerians, the reason why the president was voted in 2015 was because he was a former general. And people keep saying the great things he did against Metisani in the 80s and how we flushed them out. So we want him to do the same for bandits. For me, I don't just want him to say we'll flush them out, we'll fight bandits, we'll treat them in language you understand. We need to match our words with action. Action is needed. Because I'm not happy about what is happening. Somebody just sent me a message that around Idia-Yure, Odo-Yure area, close to Oyo State, some herdsmen did kill people, killed a couple of travelers yesterday, close to Ibadan. That happened. They just sent me that report yesterday. Only this morning, we heard about the case of Nuhu Bamali Polytechnic in Zaria local government area. How one student was shot dead, 8 people kidnapped, and 2 officials in the school. We want to hear an end to all of that. That's when I would believe that, okay, we will clamp down on bad. I want to see action. Like I always say, it's best that we don't talk. Let's just see action. Let me be able to drive a car from here to Maiduguri without thinking of criminals on the road. I know action has started.
Very well said. We'll take another story. The Nigerian presidency says a documentary titled Nigeria, Consolidating Democracy and National Unity in recognition of Moshood Kashimawo Abiola as winner of the 1993 presidential election will premiere tomorrow, June 12th. Presidential spokesman Garba Shehu announced that the occasion also aims at marking the third year since President Muhammadu Buhari decided to honor the late Abiola with the Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, which is the highest national honor reserved for current and former Nigerian heads of state. Tundu Abiola, I cannot wait to watch this documentary. I was so excited when I saw it.
Thank you.
You know, apparently the president is also going to be featured in the documentary as well as some family members.
Yes, I can't wait to watch it either. I've seen clips. It's so exciting.
Yes.
And I actually want to talk a little about the documentary. Yes. It's produced by a 3-time Oscar winner, which is very impressive. I have to just pause for effect there. Mark Johnson Harris.
Drum roll.
Yes, I'm Veronique Bernard, and directed by Ose Oyamedan. And I made a friend of Ose's during this process because there were numerous phone calls between Ose and I. He was trying to persuade me, or get me to persuade my mother to participate in the documentary, and she refused to do so.
You know I love your mother.
People, you know she's like you. Some people hate appearing in front of the camera. She won't do it for all the tea in China.
Yes.
And so, you know, unfortunately, she refused to do it. But I really made a friend out of Ose, and I'm really excited because the June 12 story has never been told, but the family is represented by some of the children who are representing their mothers who sadly are deceased, because it's really not about hearsay or reported speech, as you call it. It's supposed to be eyewitness accounts. Unfortunately, some members of my family lost their lives in the June 12 struggle, so their children have to represent them, and that just underscores the importance of this. And what really just touches me so deeply is that every president of Nigeria will do his 1 or 2 terms, and that's it, they go. But now, every year, Nigerians will sit at home on one day, Democracy Day, in recognition of an election my daddy won. And that is thanks to President Buhari. He's the only one who had the courage and the decency to recognize that man and that struggle, which transcended tribe for once in Nigeria, transcended religion. People all over Nigeria fought for June 12th. And I always try and stress that to my children. All tribes fought for June 12th. My dad won in Kano State, where his opponent was from. So at that time in Nigeria, we didn't think about things, parochial sentiments like we do now. And I pray that we go back to that.
Yes, fantastic. I am so proud. So
Thank
proud.
you, darling.
Dr. Abati, a quick comment.
Well, first, a number of points to be made. Number one is that, you know, when a proper accounting of the Buhari administration is done, I have no doubts in my mind that the bold, courageous decision of the administration to confront the truth with regard to the June 12, 1993 presidential election will be recorded as one of the major acts of courage, one of the major legacies of President Buhari. Because in that regard, he tried to make Nigerians to confront the truthfulness of their own history beyond the possible revisionism that people who revise history will engage in. 2, the documentary, I think, will also be remembered as a great achievement in a country where history is not taught, where history is an optional subject in the curriculum, in a country where museums, national museums, have become pepper soup joints and event centers, in a country where monuments have been abandoned and have become hiding places from homeless persons. An attempt like this within the cultural milieu, within the cultural context, to do a reporting, a proper documentation of the history of a turning point in Nigerian history, I think is also very important. Generations of Nigerians, I believe, will look at that documentary and they will be reminded of what happened during a major moment in Nigerian history. Third, I think the documentary will also serve the purpose of documenting the heroism, the martyrdom of Bashorun MK Abiola of the Social Democratic Party, the platform on which he won the election. And then, of course, in terms of the history, there will be details about how once upon a time in contemporary Nigerian history, it didn't matter that 2 Muslims wanted to lead Nigeria. It didn't matter that a man from the southern part of the country wanted to lead Nigeria, because MK Abiola scored the majority across the country. It will also, in that regard, in terms of the annulment of that election, that documentary will remind Nigerians of the role that was played consistently by the military in Nigeria in trying to truncate the transition to democracy. Although those who love the military, who would like to balance the history, will say that in terms of the development of Nigeria, the military leaders did a lot in terms of constructing infrastructure. And the question will be raised, yes, okay, we are now in a democracy. We went through all of this trauma. In 1999, we had another turning point. What are the people who benefited from Basharun MK Abiola's matador? What have they done? But that line of analysis, we will pursue it when eventually we see the documentary. But the documentary, I'm told, goes even beyond June 1993. That it also talks about the democratic history, the political history of Nigeria. So the documentary will speak to all of us as citizens in all parts of Nigeria. And I think it's a good symbolic document and a very good contribution to use to mark June 12th. And I hope that many of the persons who have all kinds of misgivings about Nigeria, who are saying they will go out to protest tomorrow, will also spare a thought about how we got to that moment in Nigerian history and what it means for us, what its significance is, its symbolism, and the lessons that we need to learn from it.
I love that analysis, Dr. Abati. Thank you. We'll take another story. The federal government of Nigeria has opened an official account on the Indian microblogging platform Coup. The move comes less than a week after the federal government suspended Twitter operations in Nigeria and the government's accusation that the platform was being used to undermine Nigeria's corporate existence. In the meantime, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, has denied asking the Directorate of Public Prosecutions to file charges against Nigerians who were using Twitter to express their views, but to prosecute those who aid and abet the microblogging platform to circumvent the controversial ban. Rufai, a lot of Nigerians are very confused about this information. I mean, is it that we can use Twitter or can we not use Twitter? I mean, his claim is that Nigerians are free to express themselves. He's not trying to stop Nigerians from expressing themselves on Twitter. But how do you express yourself on Twitter if you don't circumvent the ban?
All right, Oji, if you ask me, now who I go ask? But I'll ask a question. You know, because they say if you ask a Nigerian a question, he'll answer you with a question. So I'll ask you a question. Why is it that it is the time that a lot of Nigerians call the Attorney General out for using VPN network to log into Twitter, to delete his Twitter account? That's when he came out to say this. Why didn't he say this? Maybe this was the same person that said, okay, we'll meet in courts. When you get to court, you see the laws that are there to prosecute you with. When we all know there are no laws on ground. But why is that when people called him out and said, oh, you logged into Twitter yourself with a VPN account? He said he's not prosecuting anybody again, no. That you can go on Twitter. So invariably what the Attorney General has said is that we cannot go on Twitter via VPN account because your normal MTN network, if you go on it,
exactly,
you can access Twitter. So what the Attorney General said yesterday means I have not downloaded VPN. I've been law-abiding. Now I will download VPN. And now I will have my first tweet. I've not tweeted since this ban started.
Me neither.
And then I will have my first tweet because the Attorney General has lifted the ban now. You see, we need to be sincere with ourselves. Let us call a spade a spade. One of the problems of this country is broad daylight hypocrisy. The next thing we are going to log on Coup, you know, an Indian networking service. How about even if we want to deepen technology, how about we create our own networking sites? Nations all over the world give their scientists money to do well.
Well, people are also asking if the Coup has been registered and licensed as well.
Another question, has Coup been registered? Nations all over the world give their people money to do well. Oji, the touchscreen technology on your phone was a result of investment money put down by the American government for a project called DARPA and NASA. They patented the touchscreen. mRNA vaccines is American government that put the money down. What money have the Nigerian government put in to deepen science and research and technology to be able to help our scientists develop our own indigenous software like this? What money have we spent on broadband? Most of the technology we are using today is the American government that put money down to do the research. When are we going to put money for research down to deepen our own technology? My third point is the fact that a lot of Nigerians are now shopping for something called the Indian model. Let's not go there. The Indian digital laws are are dictatorial laws. Take, for instance, let me tell you what the laws are saying in India. You know WhatsApp calls are encrypted because of your privacy. India is trying to open encryption on WhatsApp calls. Those are the kind of laws India is putting down. Thirdly, India is saying now that anytime you tweet something on Twitter, the government can determine if it's wrong and you take it down in 3 days. That's the draconian nature of the Indian law. So let's not go out that route at all. Because now they've told the NBC to look into how they can register and make laws. Register based on what? What are the laws on ground? Have you had a stakeholder summit? The same NBC that will not carry, media houses along when they make the NBC code are the ones that you are saying they should regulate this and register based on what? Let us call a spade a spade. You see, we all want government to do well. We all want national security to be improved. But also, we don't want an atmosphere where you stifle almost everything. And that's the way it's beginning to look at to people, because you're stifling everything.
You wanted to make a comment, Tundu, on this
Yeah, I just
story.
find it curious that it appears that even the federal government realizes the crucial importance of social media. That's why even they had to go and find a social media platform. If it's not Twitter, it's cool. You have to communicate.
Correct.
You have to be able to access information. And if they have recognized that, then they should just lift the suspension. Because it's necessary. It's essential.
Absolutely.
I think it's important that the Attorney General of the Federation has not said that he was originally quoted out of context. And that is now saying that he has no intention to prosecute religious leaders.
Yes, that was.
He was very specific about that, and we had said in this on this program that to prosecute Pastor Adeboye of the Redeemed Christian Church of God or Pastor William Skumuyi of the Deeper Life Church will amount to looking for additional trouble. Now, after that was made public, you recall that the Minister of Information made a point about the minister, the Attorney General, being the one to take care of that. Now he has given this clarification. But the clarification that he has given is not clear enough.
We don't understand.
Because he's saying on one hand that nobody is being asked not to use, Twitter. But that those who support Twitter to disrespect or flout the suspension are the ones that they are targeting. How does he make a distinction in that regard?
Understand it.
How does he determine that? But I think the big problem we're dealing with is a situation where people make personal laws, personal directives, and the chief law officer of the Federation, which is what the Attorney General of the Federation is, should know that you cannot make a personal law, because people have been talking about a Malami law. And let me stretch that further. You recall that in the 60s, in the First Republic, one of the major issues in the book by Lung Kuan Yew, there was a paragraph there, a page there, where he referred to Nigeria, that a former Minister of Finance made a law, caused a law to be made in Nigeria so that his own factories could benefit from it. Now we're talking about coup, originally coup from Bengaluru
It's another
in India.
burnout.
It
They love
was that's the India-made app that rivals Twitter. It was established in 2020. It has 6 million followers. It has the evaluation of about $150 million. In the newspapers in India today, India Express has written a story celebrating how Kukuku has entered Nigeria. Now, at what point did Kukuku enter Nigeria? Was Twitter suspended to allow the Indians to enter Nigeria? Now, the co-founder of India is now boasting that Coup India is spreading its wings. So these are things we need to investigate. And you have raised the question.
Yes.
Do they have an office here? At what point did they come here? Are they going to abide by NBC regulations?
Exactly.
Is there foul play in the response to Twitter, particularly the timing?
They are registered. Dr. Abati, unfortunately, I don't think we can take our last story. I don't know if we can. It was a cute story. Funny story, but you made us all laugh today. Yes, what were you saying?
Kukuruku! Kukuruku!
Well, you guys have a great weekend. I will see you tomorrow. I'm taking you out.
Enjoy your weekend.
You too.
I
Thank
see it's
you.
raining outside.